Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today's conversation regarding the Dominaria Remastered. So we're only about 3 weeks till we're hitting to the big 2023 and we finally exit this dumpster fire of a 2022 year. And of course, most of the conversation in Magic is slowly moving away from the dumpster fire that's known as Magic 30th, which will go down in history as like the biggest meme and insult of a company's celebration of 30 years I've ever seen. And as we march forward to this Dominaria Remastered, a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of the messages and emails now are all kind of focusing on this, remastered Dominaria thing. A lot of people are comparing it to Time Spiral Remastered. A lot of people are Rudy, speculation. What do we do? What's the move on the chessboard? And obviously, at this point in time, to put it very simple, there is no perfect move on the chessboard to really navigate this. All I can talk to you all about is the odds in what are the possible scenarios that can unfold. How do we make our decisions? How do we approach something like that? There's no way to predict it. It doesn't matter how good the product is. Doesn't matter how. Look at Brothers of War. Is anyone out there saying Brothers War is the worst Magic set ever? Is anybody out there saying Brothers War is a dumpster fire? No. Nobody is. There's not a single LGS. Yeah, you in the back. Brothers of War Jumpstart. We don't talk about that. That's not real. That's still in the Matrix. Brothers of War is done really well. The collector boxes, the set boxes, the product, the serialized cards, the product itself has passed release, past many weeks post-release, and is not collapsed, even with Wizards supply. So, what does that mean with Dominaria Remastered? It means that, once again, there are people who love Magic, they're passionate about Magic, but everyone is scared shitless of Wizards and Hasbro's disconnect attitude and how they think the world looks. Their pair of glasses and their perspective is just clearly coming from a different planet, and it's so far away they can't make anything out. So, what does that mean? So, how do we handle this? So, obviously, I'm on the books for Dominaria Remastered for, of course, draft and, collector. There's no set, which is, I guess, a good thing. At least one less product line or one less SKU. And there's no Dominaria Remastered Jumpstart. So, the product itself looks good. We've already talked about that on the channel. We've already mentioned the Force of Will, the Tutor. We've already mentioned all the rares and mythic. We've been through that. So, as of the filming of this video, Dominaria Remastered, I'm looking at it right now. I got the screens behind me, behind the camera. $290 to $310 a box. Shipping, taxes, fees, out the door on the open market on average eBay TCG player. So, we're going to call it around $300. We're looking at draft boxes, around $200, plus or minus $10 shipping or taxes, local pickup, your LGS or whatever online. So that's where we're at. Are these prices good? Are they sustainable? Is the product worth this? Is it Baldur's Gate 2.0? Are we walking through the valley of the shadow of Baldur's Gate? The only thing we can say for confidence right now is that we know there are rares and mythics that are going to have real demand, Sylvan Libraries and Force of Wills and blah, blah, blah. And we know there are cards in different tutor cycles, all this crap, that are going to have value and help safety net the product. That is something that a lot of whales always look for before they determine whether or not to park a lot of money, take a big gamble. Because that's, I mentioned in another video a few days ago or last week about Brothers of War. How Brothers of War collectors, when I ran the sale and everything originally, and I sold it at release, like even my own patrons, they were skeptical and they were just like, oh, Rudy, I like it, but dude, I'm going to wait for the Amazon dump. And then it appears when the product and set does well, it feels like then Wizards doesn't have the excess inventory, so it doesn't head to Amazon dump. So kind of what that means is when we look at everything now, we have to say if the product fails, it doesn't really become a home run, and we pass release plus 30, 60, 90 days, at that point, we know we need to be real careful. Because we know once we hit release and we go past 30, 60 days, if it's not being successful, stores are reordering or anything like that, Hasbro's going to pull the Amazon switch. They're going to hit the red rope, and it's going to go on an Amazon dump. So now, everyone's saying, let's hold off to find out if that happens. The problem with that is, if it does happen, great. You can buy it for a cheaper price on Amazon Papa Bezos' Penis Rocket website. If it doesn't happen, then you're screwed, and the price goes up, and you miss the boat, and you're out. If you wanted to buy a case of 6 collector boxes, And even if the price jumps 20, 30, 40 bucks a piece times the case, you're out hundreds of dollars. So it's kind of a lose-lose. Because if you wait and it crashes, oh great, I can get an Amazon dump. Hopefully it's not resealed, yay. Or B, if you wait, it goes up, then you have to pay more because it had to prove itself. Both of these paths are not ideal. And that is just where it is. Neither one of those kind of outcomes is really a great thing. They're a bad end customer experience. Because either A, you're waiting for clearance because it fell apart, or B, you're overpaying because you were afraid of the crash. None of those end up with customers being happy. And that's the problem with this stuff. So back to Dominaria Remastered. Do I think $300 for collector box is going to hold? To be honest with you guys, no, I don't. I think people right now, but do I think that's a really awful price and it's going to, it may not be. We don't know until we know how tight supply is. And judging by, Wizards of the Coast, and of course the Hasbro and Chris Cox and the cocktail party with the president of Wizards underneath them, we know that these individuals have made it very clear. They don't overprint anything. They know exactly what they're doing. Right? That's the narrative. We're sticking with that. So, is this a time spiral 2.0? Is Dominaria Remastered going to come out, never get a restock, and anything else goes right to, Jeff Bezos' website? It's possible, but the thing is we just don't know the answer to that. We don't know. And because of that, it makes the situation filled with anxiety. Stores are cutting pre-orders. They're nervous. But in my opinion, the fact remains the product isn't bad. The product itself is not a shitty product. Dominaria Remastered, if Dominaria Remastered was released in 2020, 2019, 2018, if Dominaria Remastered was released a year or two ago, think about the difference. Think about what all of you would be thinking right now. Think about how everybody would be like, wow, this is actually pretty good, man. Can you imagine if 2-3 years ago, imagine it. Think about this. Imagine if this product, it was 2019 right now. Okay? If this was 2019 and the product and all this was happening, people would be losing their mind. I was around, and some of you were around, in 2017. Modern Masters 2017. Enemy fetch lands in a master set. Ultimate Masters. Double Masters. Double Masters 2. Modern Horizons 1. Modern Horizons 2. These products were all decent products. The difference is the attitude of the morons at the top. And what they've made very clear. We all know Dungeons & Dragons is about to get pounded. Federal, pound me in the taco. Dungeons & Dragons is next, buddy. If you're into that, I'm sorry. They're coming for your wallet. And, I look at this stuff, and I step back, and I say, this remains a problem of the company and the management. Not a problem of the employees, the R&D who made Dominaria Remastered. The product looks good. We said the same thing with Brothers War. The same thing with, serialized cards so far. There's no serialized cards in Dominaria Remastered. There's no serialized cards in Phyrexia All Will Be 69. So are they not going to do serialized cards in every set? If that's the case, Brothers War collector boxes are really undervalued. Now, of course, if they start serializing everything, guess what? Brothers War collector boxes are no longer, they're not going to be that great. That's the thing. You can argue the narrative in both directions. I can take the context and you can spin it both ways. So we have to look at it as more of a fact. We know that Force of Will as a mythic is good. We know that tutors and certain Sylvan libraries of certain rares that people like is a good thing. Those are basic. We know them filling it with jank rares and bulk stuff pisses people off and gives a bad experience, but they have to do it. Maybe not to the extent they're doing it. But we know these are the variables that move the needle. Lastly, we know when distributors start giving allocations for Dominaria Remastered collector boxes, and if I get less than I thought and every other store out there gets less than they thought, I can assure you all the $300 price point will hold. If those pre-orders come out and stores get their allocation and everybody gets completely filled and Rudy, you can have extra, that's going to be a bad sign. And, that kind of data is just, you can't hide it. It's going to come to market over the next 30 days. So anyways, in conclusion of everything, this is how we're approaching things. We're remaining in a time, as we wrap up 2022, in a moment where the product itself is not as important as the overall macro environment. And it's been a long time since I've been able to say something like that. In the 7 years of this channel, most of those 7 years, it was really about how good is the set. It wasn't like, well, what are interest rates at? How's everybody feeling? How's inflation? What's the taco index? $3 for a taco instead of $2? Oh boy. We are in a different type of mindset. And this is the first era I've been on YouTube making videos about this stuff, where interest rates and cash is no longer trash. And cash in your bank account, they're brokerage firms. Hell, I think even like Robinhood's paying 4% on cash. I think my E-Trade, I looked up brokered CDs in E-Trade, and I saw like 5.5 and 5.9% for CDs. You have to look at everything different. And since we have so many choices and cash has been tightened so much by the Federal Reserve and rates are gone up again and are still supposed to go up more, that's why the market's pissed off again, because they said they're going to keep raising. Whether they raise another quarter, 50 basis points, or they just do one more, two more, we don't know. Nobody does. The data isn't out yet. We won't know till the future, and obviously predicting the future is just a gambler fallacies type of game. So, I like Dominaria Remastered. I'm going to keep some for myself. I'm going to offer some to patrons. I would like to return and possibly try to do some box openings for that, because it's been a while since I've opened new product. I'm going to start doing the box openings on the channel again here, but a lot of it's going to be, Modern Horizons, Ultimate Master. We're going to do kind of more exciting, better things, instead of things where, there's 15 variants of every card. And, but I don't want to get into the Phyrexia LB69, but I just want to tell you all with this Dominaria Remastered thing, the product looks good. And depending on how much supply is dumped on the market, and depending on how everybody actually decides to buy it, will dictate where it settles out at. If I had to make predictions right now, I'll throw you all a prediction. You can use it against me. I don't care. Right now, Dominaria Remastered Collector Box are $300. I predict on when we head to pre-release weekend, I'm thinking Dominaria Remastered Collector Boxes, like on eBay TCG Player, instead of $300 plus tax, I bet they're maybe 10% lower. So maybe $270 plus tax. I think they'll drop some, but I don't think it's going to be. So instead of paying $300 plus tax, $320 out the door? Maybe you're paying $290, $300 out the door. And again, I don't think it's going to swing too much unless Wizards really overprinted it. And I know some people are going to say, well, Rudy, there's no serialized cards, so we have no way of knowing if they reprint and lie to us again. And that is a fact. That is a fact. I mean, we don't know. And no matter what Wizards Hasbro tells us, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Obviously, everybody I know, if Mark Rosewater comments or answers a question on this thing, nobody cares anymore. Anything he says, it gets completely useless. And whether that's his fault or the company and the people above him is irrelevant. The point is, when he answers things about reserve lists or spirits or bathwater bottom, none of it matters anymore. In the last 20, 30 years of him doing things and answering to the public and trying to give everybody hints and tips, and that was great. But Magic 30 ended that. Nobody, I don't know anyone who looks for him to answer questions that mean anything. I don't know anyone that waits for Wizards to do a press release and takes it seriously anymore. And that's kind of the issue with it, Again, it was never about $9.99 for Magic 30. It was about the whole execution of it. I'm the same guy who said that $100 for VIP Double Masters was underpriced for $100 a pack. I don't have an issue with the price. I have an issue with what they did. And Mark Rosewater on the reserve list and the Spirit and saying they wouldn't do it 14 times over the last 8 years in interviews. And that's the issue, folks. It has nothing to do with whether they should sell a $1,000 thing or not. I still stand by the way. I know we're off topic. I'm going to end the video, but one last thing. I still stand by. If Magic 30th was a revised looking booster box, like that old brown look, if they had done that, and there were 36 packs of Magic 30 in it, and it looked like an old celebration thing, and it was $1,000, it would have brought in so much money for Wizards and Hasbro. It would have been perverted. I would have bought as much as possible, put it through distribution, let every store spend millions on it. It would have been incredible. That's the thing, is I have no issue with the price point. I have issue with, they said they wouldn't do it, then they did it, then they printed proxies, then the spirit of this, and then the price is just, the whole thing was just wacky. So anyways, I still think $100 VIP packs, and I still think Double Masters 2022 and original Double Masters is undervalued. And the market will eventually exit a bear market, and we will learn this stuff. So final comment, everybody. Dominaria Remastered looks good. I am going to keep some for myself. I'm going to try to keep a pallet for myself, and then I'm going to sell the rest to patrons and do some box openings and see what happens, everybody. I think it's just a really tough time because everybody's still very emotional, pissed off, and kind of triggered, and we're all price sensitive. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to assist in helping everybody. We got to move forward from it, and we got to see what happens. And I do believe it is a matter of time before Hasbro Wizards does pivot. I know this whole pivot. It's like the Fed. They're going to pivot. There's going to be a pivot. I know it's a cliche, stupid word, but there is a matter of time, and they will be forced to, because obviously you can't endlessly print 10,000 secret layers and variants, because eventually it just falls apart, doesn't sell, and they don't have a choice. And when that happens, they're forced to do something. Or they literally lose their job because the board of directors and public shareholders fire these people. So one or the other, we're going to have a shift. Or B, well, everything just fails and it just stops. It just doesn't work, and it goes on clearance, and then that goes on clearance, and everything just, one way or the other, it's going to have to change eventually. Although it could take a while. So that's all I have to say, folks. It's going to be an interesting 2023. I just want to talk to everybody today about Double Masters. Dominaria Remastered. I still think Double Masters and the VIP packs and $100 packs, I still think they're underpriced. And like I said, just try to keep emotion out of it. I know we've had a lot of fun here in the memes and everything on the channel, but I really do think there's going to be some good products, and we're all just very pissed off about how we all just feel bait and switched on it. But I think 2023 will be a better year than 2022. I hope I don't jinx it and it just goes to hell. Hopefully, if I'm proven wrong on that, that'll just be a terrible year for everybody. But I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'm hoping for a better 2023 between everything from the stock markets to equities to collectibles to crypto to stabilization and interest rates, stabilization in real estate. I'm just hoping we don't have more collapses. I don't even care if things go up or not. I just want things to be stable. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. Yes, you in the back? Okay, other people say that's way too much to ask for. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Rudy ramble today.